Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to our music production masterclass. This tutorial will be divided into four parts. Namely, first we'll do the introduction class, the introduction part, which is where we'll cover the basic concepts and foundations of music production. And we will discuss everything you need to know as a beginner to help you kickstart your production journey. After that, the part two will be the production masterclass. Yes. And after that, we'll do the mixing class. That will be our part three, the mixing class. And then we'll end it up with a mastering class, which as the part four. All right. So with this, we begin the first part of these classes. And this is lesson one, that is basic concepts of music production. Now, we are going to start. We ask, what is music production? So music production is a process of developing, creating, and refining recorded music for public presentation. Yeah, this involves arrangements, recording, beat making, sound design, etc. So that is what music production is all about. Now, we can say that a music producer creates music for general consumption. Okay, now as a music producer, you need a music production software to help you perform the tasks at hand. There are a whole lot of music production softwares out there. We have Reaper, we have Logic, we have Pro Tools, we have Studio One, we have FL Studio, we have Ableton, and so on and so forth. For the purpose of these lessons, we are going to focus on Pro Tools and FL Studio. We are combining the two. And there is a general name for music production softwares. Music production softwares are called digital audio workstations. That is, in short, DAW, digital audio workstations. The next thing we want to look at is audio interface. We can ask, what is an audio interface? An audio interface is a hard way for recording high quality audio with a computer. You get to. Another name for it is a sound card. Some people call it sound card. So we use an audio interface for recording. We record our contents with an audio interface. The next thing we want to look at is bouncing. Bouncing here is the process of exporting a track in a format like MP3 or WAV. So if we have a project ongoing and we are done with it, or we want to listen, we just want to export it for our listening, or we want to send it to a friend, want to send it to your friend to hear it out, what you do is to bounce it. That is bouncing. Now after that, we look at the next thing we want to look at is EQ, that is equalization. This is a method of cutting or boosting the levels of specific frequencies within a sound without changing the rest of it by adjusting the gain of a particular frequency. Yes, a selected point. So equalization is just more or less reducing or boosting the volume of an instrument and audio at specific frequencies instead of affecting the entire waveform. So we just increase or reduce the volume at particular frequency points. So as we go on the classes, we will get to know more about that. Now the next thing we're going to do is gain. We talk about is the gain. Now gain is how loud a signal is before it goes through an amplifier. So just before any processing takes place, just before any mixing takes place, how loud is our input signal? That is what gain is. Now for input, the input is the initial part of the recording chain. So through a cable such as a MIDI or a USB or a jack cable. So immediately our audio comes into the computer. That is the input. Yes. So, and after that, we will look at FX. And FX is short for effects. So and common effects we have reverb, a reverb effect, we have chorus, we have distortion, we have flanger. So these are processors or devices applied to a signal to alter its sound. Okay. Now for reverb gives us a sound, an echoey kind of. After that, we look at latency. Latency is a delay between the input and an output of a signal. So there's a millisecond. Oftentimes, oftentimes this delay it might not be very noticeable. It can be negligible. This is what is called latency. The delay between the input source, the input signal, and the output is what is called latency. Our next topic is our next term is MIDI, M-I-D-I, MIDI. So MIDI is short for musical instrument digital interface. MIDI are data and notes recorded with software and electronic instruments. So the notes recorded by a MIDI keyboard are recorded in a DAW, that is digital audio workstation, as MIDI notes. The next term we want to focus on is panning, and panning is a placement of sound either in the left or the right spectrum. The next term we want to look at is plugin. Plugin. So what is a plugin? A plugin is a software we use to extend our DAW with extra effects, extra tones, and extra processing or instruments. Okay, so as our DAW comes, as we get our DAW, it comes with some effects and processors and instruments, but then sometimes it's not often enough. Sometimes what we need is not there, so we get plugins to help or enable us do the job better. A sample is a short pre-recorded sound taken from one recording and used in another. A sequencer can be used to record and edit a performance without using an audio-based input source. It doesn't record the actual audio but the data. So when notes are played, it records it in the form of a data at a particular time. Now the next term is tempo. The tempo of the music is the speed of the music. It is recorded in beats per minute. So for example, 60 beats per minute, 60 BPM, for example, is 1 beat a second. That is for every second there is a beat. Tracking, this is recording songs on a computer, recorder, or a tape. In a DAW, tracks contain audio and MIDI layers. Each instrument gets its own track. VST stands for Virtual Studio Technology. These are plugins. These are extra plugins we use to bring in extra instruments and effects into our DAW. A waveform is how the shape looks like in our DAW. The next thing we are looking at now is a wet or dry. Wet or dry. A dry signal is a pure unprocessed sound, like a vocal recorded as it is. A wet signal is a sound with effects on it. Once we get a signal on its recorded form, the way it is a dry signal. Once we start adding effects to the signal, it becomes a wet signal. The next thing we want to look at is mixing. Now, mixing is combining multiple recorded sounds together, blending them to change the levels for a balanced and interesting record or track. Now, the last thing we want to look at is mastering. Mastering means making sure that the music sounds consistent over all music formats and platforms, over all speakers, be it headphones or professional speakers or even home theater systems. So that is the process of mastering. We end our lesson 1 with that.